So apparently you didn't need to learn an accent. That was going to be one of my questions. It sounds like that's your normal voice.
Well,
Awesome.
I just wanted to keep it going for the interviews, but that's fine. I can go back to my Kentucky accent if you want. I'm
Just a
kidding.
method actor. I love
Oh,
it.
it's terrible. I'm sorry.
Hey everyone, it's David Starr from Watcher Pass, and I'm talking to co-writer and star Gianni Capaldi about Damage, which comes to theaters, digital, and on demand on April 12th, 2024. I'm going to talk to him right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I also had a lot. Thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome.
Here you are.
All right. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I've got co-writer and star Gianni Capaldi talking about Damage, which comes to theaters, digital, and on demand on April 12th, 2024. It is a dark police procedural that has Gianni and Samuel L. Jackson trying to catch a serial killer. It has a great cast, some dark content, and some really good practical effects. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm excited to talk to you. So thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks very much.
Of course, of course. So, first question, you're a co-writer. I don't know how involved you were with the script. Like at what point did you come into this movie process? Did you work on the script? Did you work on edits to it? How did you get involved in this?
Well, I actually came up with the idea for the script for the movie. So, and then it was handed off to a writer to write the bones of it, and then brought back to Paul and I to finish off the movie and correct what needed to be corrected and turn it into what it is today.
Oh,
So
very cool. So you had the dark concept idea of this film. You have a dark mind or at least an interest in it, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the genre. For me, that's my favorite genre. So, I'm a big fan from Silence of the Lambs to Zodiac to Seven, Bone Collector. I watch them all. I watch all of these kind of movies. So, um, I think it's really important all the time that these movies have got to keep the audience on their seat. So, whenever you feel that you know which direction movies go, and you've got to try and steer it onto a different direction before they get too comfortable.
For sure. And this film definitely has that. I'm not gonna spoil it here, but it definitely has some misdirection as you're trying to figure out what is going on and who the killer is. So I love that you are a fan of classics, and I love that you kind of brought that into this movie as well.
Yeah, and the difference of what we tried to do with this movie was we try to um, contribute more because there's so many movies, but if you we try to do some more gritty and introduce Scottish flair, and whether it's the accent or locations, and it's a bit more mysterious, and just an eclectic cast. So that was the goal for this one.
For sure. And there's something about like them going to kind of investigate this religious sect where it has like an old abbey and they're in these like robes. It feels much more sinister than, probably an American one where they'd be in like some sort of farmhouse and probably wearing like weird white robes. There's something like that felt, I don't know, more primal or scarier when they were talking to the religious sect in this film.
That's right. And it's funny because there was so many crows around that place. They're not. That's not sound effects. They were real crows, and it just looked so. When seeing there was all these men come out with the robes, actually, a couple of times I'm looking around myself. Are you sure these are all actors here? Yeah, okay, all right, we're fine, fine.
That's
But
perfect. Yeah, it's a use what you got, right? Like you can save money on sound effects by having real sound effects in the scene. That's perfect.
the crows were hired, so just so you know, thank you.
They worked for Corn. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, so you came up with the original idea. Were you always set to play Inspector Boyd, or did that just kind of happen as you were trying to fill out the cast and get this movie made?
I obviously, I actually was quite drawn to the McGregor character. Um, yeah,
All right.
it's kind of wild, right? But the way it developed with the colourful characters that were kind of brought together in the casting, you've got you it just made sense. The Boyd character made sense because I believe Boyd had such vulnerability, after losing a child and at the start of the movie, and then all the tragedies he kind of faced, and the switch that he had to turn halfway through the film, or maybe two-thirds of the film.
Mhm.
Um, it with discussions with the director and the casting director, it worked out well, and the way the placements. And I thought, I just when you look at it now, it's like a color palette. and Vincent's style, and you wanted Sam to work with someone who was it was more gritty, and it had to be, a Scottish detective. It couldn't be too colourful because then it would just kind of contrast. So, yeah, I know. I mean, Boyd was, probably, the dream role for most actors. So, I was lucky enough to get to perform in that one.
That's awesome. Did you try out for it? I don't know how that works when you're
Yeah,
heavily involved.
yeah, no, I did, of course. Yeah, yeah, we did tried out for it, as you say. But yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. And so you mentioned working with Sam. How was it? What I loved about this movie is you get sometimes some films that have like big name actors, and then they have a small part here and there. Like you'll see a scene or a voice or things like that. But Samuel Jackson was like in this movie. He was a main character through and through. What was it like working with him, and how did you get him on board?
So basically, I've done many of those movies where someone comes in for 3 or 4 days and then they're gone, or 5 days and then they're gone. But Sam was there for a month, so him and I were we go through basically every scene together, and it was just I think you've got to ask Sam why he wanted to do the movie, but I believe that it's a character that he's never played. What he told me, and that's what drew him to that character, was being able to bring that to life. So yeah, and then working with Sam, I mean, Sam's a gem. He just walks in and he's just got that flair, and it was such a good contrast. I'm sure you've seen the film, so it's a contrast between the two styles, and I just think that what he brought, he's got the heart of a lion. This man, you know what I mean? Like he's just such a generous guy.
Yeah, for sure. And look, he seems like a cool person just to like hang out. So if you get to spend a month with him, that sounds amazing. Just like shoot the shit with him, drink with him, talk shop with him. That must have been amazing.
Yeah, yeah, no, we did. We had a few dinners and hung out a few times and that during it, because you always want to keep a close bond. And he's got such a lovely team. He's got like a family, he's got a team with him, and they're all so nice. And my wife used to be, I've said this every time now, my wife used to be a publicist working with Sam's publicist
Oh, nice.
in LA. I mean, I'm going back many years now, but the first time he saw her, he's like, "Hey, Amanda, what are you doing here?" And it's like, "Oh, wait, you're married to this guy? Oh," and it was like this. Suddenly, it was like all right, you're in the family, okay. So it was this trust thing, which is really good. It's really important to have trust with who you're working with, and yeah, it was an absolute dream. And I got to work with him again in another movie last October, November, later on in the year, so on a western. So it was really good to reunite. Even you know, for a short period. I was there for a couple of months, but rain most of the time there, so we hardly did anything. But he's a dream to work with.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's fun to like get into his family and also be able to reunite with him. That must have been good to see him again. And also, I did like, yeah, his character is a little bit different in this film than in other ones. He still had that flair. He still had that like confidence, but there was a lot of unknowns that his characters normally don't have. He was kind of, unsure of what to do next. He had some vulnerability in this, so it was fun to see him take on that and also just take on like a meaty role for a police procedural film.
Yeah, I mean, he put his all into this movie. Like as you say, sometimes people turn up and they do 5 days and 6 days, 7 days, and then they're gone. But no, Sam put his all into this movie, and Sam is Sam. Sam will always do Sam. But he's just such an eclectic chameleon. He takes on so many different types of roles, but he did such a great job. Sam's
Yeah,
brilliant.
for sure. And then Vincent Castle was fun too. He was a very different character. Like his character was a nice like addition to this little detective family that you had growing. How did he get involved in the movie?
Again, apparently read it, loved it, and all the pieces started to come together, and that's what I was trying to say. The color palette to this movie, everybody's so different. They've just got so many different characters. The characters are just so colourful, and
Mhm.
Vincent is just a cool cat, sacre bleu, nice thing. But he's so talented. He's just gold, another golden guy. Everybody was really good, and I also want to mention the Laura and John Hannah. They both brought their humility to the movie and their characters, and John did such a great job with McGregor. It was just he turned that character into something special. So it
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, for sure. No, I loved all the characters. McGregor especially had to be like someone that you love to hate, which is, he did that perfectly. And I also like seeing Katie Dickie in this as well. Just, like, oh, Game of Thrones is like here as well. It was fun to like have her have a cameo. She had a smaller role, but still like an important, strong role in this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She did it so well. Kate's. I really hit it off with Kate. Like in the film, she was just a Kate's got this severity to her personality and the role. I'm saying, so and it's like you're not going to cross her. So having her as my boss was kind of, I felt that severity from her. You know, don't mess this up, Boyd. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
God,
exactly. No, it definitely
like,
it was nice having her like as the stern boss when you had like essentially the boys out there causing mischief. It was nice for her to be up top, just but you're like getting you in line, commanding you. And you're right, she had this personality that even though you got you and Sam Jackson there, she is still telling you what to do, which was nice.
yeah, she's telling everybody what to do, isn't she? So, but yeah, she did a great job, man. She's a legend as well.
So, one thing I wanted to ask, like the ending, was it always this way, or did you go through multiple drafts to kind of get to what the ultimate ending was? It was a turn, it was like a surprise, but I'm curious, like how many different iterations you went through when you were trying to craft the way that this film ended.
Yeah, there was a version which was at this ending, and I was never quite happy with it because I it, I just felt it needed that last an extra twist and a big finale twist, and without giving it away,
Mhm.
you maybe kind of try and figure out where that who the real culprit kind of was. But yeah, no, that the ending was something that was worked on a lot. So
That makes sense. I was just curious because I know that I wasn't sure if you had this vision from the start or if it was kind of like evolving as the movie came, and it sounds like it was a little bit of both.
when people read something and go, "I knew it was him. I knew it was him." There was a wee bit of that before this version, that last version, and I was like, you know what, I could turn this on its head, and then we turned it on its head, and then we had to kind of adjust things and whatnot. But yeah, that was aye.
I literally had in my notes like it's this person. I know who it is. Like it's so obvious. So I'm glad that you change it up.
I know, I know, I
Yeah.
know, I know. And he played it so well as well. Like the both kind of all three in fact played it really well. So anyway,
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I also really love, you clearly love the genre. When you have a police procedural, you have to have good practical effects. This film had some pretty grisly practical effects. Who did you have to do that? It was definitely a focus. It was definitely something that, like, if you have a serial killer, you need to have really good grisly type scenes. So, how did you get those scenes done, and who did you have help you?
yeah, we had there was a series like a detective who was part of Scotland's serious crime for 25 years who just dealt with murders.
Oh, wow.
And he had him on set, every day that there was a crime scene or procedural stuff. So, he would turn around and say, this is how, without having to bore, because some things, paperwork and whatnot, you don't show that in a movie. But yeah, we had a really good, experienced advisor in there who just would make sure everything was like it's supposed to and whatnot. I learned so much. If I ever want to give up acting, I could just become a cop. So
There you go. Go from being an actor to being a cop. Very
yeah,
different skill sets, but also very demanding in both respects. So,
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure it is.
So I know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to a lightning round. They're just very lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. You can feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay,
First question. You kind of almost answered this. Did you ever want to be a detective or a cop when you were growing up?
never.
Never.
Criminal.
Always wanted to be on screen. I love it. Uh, this film is about a killer that has a very specific ritual. Do you have any rituals? Doesn't have to be murder. I hope it's not murder, but do you have any like rituals that you go through that you do over and over again, or maybe something before you go on screen?
Probably just use the toilet before I go. before
That
I
is an
start.
important ritual.
Yeah, that's a make sure I do my toilet break and then go on and set. So yes.
All right. Jewelry played a key role. It was a trophy in this film. Do you have any jewelry that you wear?
Well, I do have a wedding ring and I have a watch that my late grandmother purchased for me that I always have on. But yeah.
Oh, well, both great jewelry, both good things to have on you. The film also dealt a little bit with kind of religion and extreme religion. Not extreme, or maybe you are. Are you religious?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
All right, there we go. Do you have any cool like Celtic crosses or things like that?
Um, I I don't have any tattoos. Well, my wife has a tattoo of a turtle on her foot, so but I do. I'm a big fan of Celtic Football Club, which is Celtic, close, but same
Yeah,
spin. But
yeah,
that's
no,
yeah,
yeah, they have some good seasons as well. So yeah, that's a good team to follow. Um, Now, this film dealt with a case that was never solved, some sort of mystery that was never solved. Have you ever like investigated anything that wasn't solved, any sort of mystery? It doesn't have to be murder again, but anything that you have like looked into and you just couldn't figure out what was happening?
that's a good question. I hear noises in my house sometimes, so I don't know what that is. Never get to the bottom of that, and if I do, they'll get it, whoever it is.
Yeah, you might
Yeah.
want to get to the bottom of that. I mean, hopefully it's nothing, but you never know, right? As this movie showed, you never know.
Maybe someone's living in my attic. I don't know.
Yeah. Charge them rent. In this economy, you need to start charging them rent.
Oh, right.
And the last question, this movie had a couple, shootout scenes. Have you ever fired a gun?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
I have. On numerous movies they have taken me for shooting practice. So
Perfect. Well, I mean, that seems like a good skill to have as an actor. Like, I assume, especially the movies that you do, you have to at least be competent with a gun, at least look like you're competent. So that makes perfect sense.
and also safety is a huge factor. You've got to know when it's safe and not safe.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Looking out for you and your coworkers. So the film is coming out on April 12th, 2024, coming to theaters, digital, on demand. You are out promoting it, getting the word out, letting people know. But I imagine you probably have other projects in the works. So after people see you in Damaged, what can they look for next from you?
I did a movie last October, November. It's a Western called Unholy Trinity. I was lucky to star in it with Samuel Jackson again and Pierce Brosnan, among others. And it was shot in Montana at the end of last year. Um, really good, really good cast. Ethan Peck and young kid Brandon Lassard as well, and it was great to be Richard Gray directing. So, um, I that'll be after Damaged at some point.
I want to see that just from the title alone. I hope that you are one of the unholy trinity. I hope the unholy trinity is you, Sam Jackson, and Pierce Brosnan. That would be fantastic.
I'm definitely unholy, and it's super.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm excited to see that. But first, before you see that, while you wait for that, check out Damage coming to theaters on April 12th, 2024. Also coming to digital and on demand. This is Gianni Capaldi, the co-writer and star. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, God bless you. Cheers. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you so much. That was Gianni Capaldi talking about Damage, which comes to theaters, digital, and on demand on April 12th, 2024. It is a dark police procedural that has Samuel L. Jackson and a serial killer. What's not to like? If you liked this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.